Good afternoon and welcome back to Pampered Chef VIP Kitchen. I'm Brandon.
I'm Amy. And I'm Terry.
And we are part of the fastest growing group in Pampered Chef history, Team Grit.
Woohoo!
Today we are going to be creating Amy's homemade salsa recipe.
And first we will be using the blender, the cooking blender, which is totally awesome. We'll be using a stainless steel bowl with a lid, which you can use to, put that on there to save for later. We'll be using the silicone prep bowls. They come in 3. And we will be using the citrus press. We'll be using the garlic press. We'll be using the tablespoon on the measuring, the adjustable measuring spoon. We have our flexible cutting mat and our coated knife, which is so very sharp and awesome.
So the ingredients that you need to make my personal salsa recipe is 2 cans of whole peeled tomatoes, how many ounces are these? 28-ounce cans. We're going to make a big bowl of salsa. You need 3 14.5-ounce cans of diced tomatoes. I use 2 cans of diced tomatoes and a can of Mexican stewed tomatoes. You also need 3 or 4 Roma tomatoes diced. You'll need a large white onion, 3/4 of it diced, and 1/4 of it just in big chunks. You'll need 2 to 3 whole limes, some chili de arbol powder, some cumin, and some ground Mexican oregano. You can really use any kind of oregano you want, but I really like the ground Mexican oregano because it doesn't leave leaves or anything in your salsa. It's ground very fine. You'll need 2 or 3 jalapenos, 2 of them in a fine dice. You'll need 2 to 3 serranos, 2 of them in a fine dice, and a bunch of cilantro. So those are your ingredients.
Okay, so Amy, what's the first step in making your homemade salsa?
So the first step to making the salsa is to put your diced onions and your diced peppers into a bowl. Salt them generously with about a tablespoon of salt, and then squeeze a lime over the top of them.
Okay. We have our limes pre-cut. Put them in the nice citrus press. Press it down. Get a bunch of that lime juice. Oh, that's a juicy lime.
Yeah.
We like them real thick and juicy.
So find that juicy double.
We
We always love to have fun in the kitchen. That's what it's all about.
All right. So the onions, the salt, and the lime juice have been added to the bowl.
Throw in those peppers. Don't forget about your spicy peppers.
Put in the diced jalapenos and serrano peppers.
All right, now our next step is going to be to add 1 of your giant cans, 28-ounce cans of tomato, right into the blender. It looks like this blender jar is pretty big, so I'm also going to add 2 cans of the diced tomatoes into the blender.
That looks pretty yummy already.
It is so delicious. This salsa doesn't really last very long in my house. Then you want to throw in probably half of your reserved quarter onion. Just throw it right in there.
And then we cut up 1 jalapeno, just took the stem off and cut it into 3 or 4 chunks. And we did the same thing with the serrano. Just take the stem off and cut the whole pepper into 3 or 4 chunks. Add that right to the blender. All right, perfect. Now I'm going to, I guess I should use a measuring spoon. I don't usually measure this, guys, so we're gonna see how this goes. I've got some cumin. I'm going to use about maybe a half a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon. We'll go for a teaspoon. We like cumin. Yes, we do. And I'm going to throw that right in there. Then I'm going to use my chili de arbol powder. Now the thing with chili de arbol is it gives it a very authentic taste, but it's hot. Sometimes you can't find the ground powder. You can just find the dried chilies. If you can find the dried chilies, what I like to do is toast them in a dry pan for a couple minutes or put them in the oven to toast a little bit. Be careful because they'll let off hot pepper fumes, like hot pepper spray. And when you breathe it, it's going to burn your eyes and nose. So be careful and make sure you do it in a well-ventilated place. Then after I get them toasted, I'll throw them in the food processor and grind it up, and it'll look similar to dried chili flakes. But it gives it a very authentic and hot flavor. Chili de arbol.
Where do you normally find this, Amy?
I usually find this in the Mexican food section at like a Safeway, or sometimes you can find them at like a Mexican mart, a Mexican food market. They come in packages that look like this. This is the ground oregano. I'm also going to put in some ground oregano. And I'm going to say the chili de arbol, I started with maybe a quarter to a half a teaspoon. Just put in a little at a time and see how hot you like it. If you like it hotter, put in some more. But start small. With the oregano, I'm going to go ahead and put in a whole teaspoon. Right into the blender, just like that. Okay. So then I'll put on the lid. And we'll let Terry demonstrate how to turn this baby on.
Okay. So what's so awesome about this is you just hit the button on the front after you turn it on.
That is very nice.
Ooh, I can smell the hot aroma.
The lid of the blender also attaches and it locks into place. You don't have to worry about it flying off.
Right. So, do you think that's long enough?
Depending on how smooth you would like your salsa, you can let the blender go for as long or as little as you like.
What do you think? How about
Grab you a chip.
Well, that's one good way of testing it out.
Certainly is.
Oh, and by the way, we put chips in the air fryer today on bake, and that was awesome. We only did that for about 3 minutes. They came out hot, crunchy, awesome.
Just like when you get a hot basket of chips at a Mexican restaurant.
That's right.
So delicious.
Oh, this looks perfect, you guys. Mmm.
Okay, so now we're going to take the blender jug off and pour it in with our onions and peppers that have been sort of marinating in the lime juice. The salt and lime juice have allowed the onions to kind of let off some of their juices to help flavor the salsa and kind of make them a little bit tender. Just a little bit.
Okay. So we will undo it from there. Thank you.
There you go. There's a
And
little lip on the front of it that you want to use to help with the handle.
Okay, and we are just going to take that and pour it right into our chunks of onions, our lime juice, our jalapenos and serranos, as well as our salt.
Okay, then we're going to start on the second round. We're going to take the blender jar. Oh, that's a heavy blender jar. We're gonna place it back on top of the base.
Do you want to stir this?
Yeah, we can stir it. Then we're going to add another 28-ounce can of peeled whole tomatoes. we're going to add in one 14.5 ounce can of Mexican style stewed tomatoes. We're going to throw in a little bit of pickled jalapenos. I'm gonna say, whoa, and some juice, just a little bit, as I spill it all over the place. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna say approximately an eighth of a cup, maybe, of jalapenos with some juice, like that much out of the jar. And I want to give the salsa a little taste to see if I need to add more hot or more cumin or more oregano. Woo! Okay, that's good, but I think that because we're adding some more tomatoes, I'll add just a little more of the chili de árbol to make it spicy.
Oh, we love it spicy.
Just a little dash. And a little more cumin, I think it might need. Just a little dash. And maybe just a skosh. A word your grandma probably used to use. A skosh of,
Or a pinch.
that's right. A scant quarter teaspoon. Throw that in there. And then Terry is going to squeeze in a piece of fresh garlic.
What's so awesome about this garlic press, guys, is that you do not have to peel the garlic. You put the garlic right inside there into the little hole. You go ahead and you squeeze that garlic, and all the goody stuff, the meat of the garlic will come through and into your sauce. A little big piece of garlic, so it might be a little harder to get out. There we
There you
go.
go.
Nice. Now you don't have to use fresh garlic in this. You can use garlic powder or garlic salt. Just adjust your salt if you're using garlic salt.
Okay. And we'll open this up, and what happens is, let me just see if I can get a little bit more out of there.
Use those muscles, Terry.
Yeah. Okay, and then what you do is you just take this little tool here and you just scrape that right on out of there. There you go.
Oh, so nice, so easy.
In fact, I think I'm going to put a little bit more. I don't want to miss out on anything.
Don't want to miss out on any of that garlic flavor.
That's right, I love that garlic flavor.
All right, then I'm going to throw in the last little chunk of my onion, and I'm going to take my cilantro, and I'm going to just kind of cut off maybe a quarter to a half of just the top of the leaves. You can use all of the stems and everything. That's a lot of flavor there, and it's all edible and delicious. I've already washed this and got out a lot of the, well, hopefully all of the grit. I'm just going to throw that right into the blender. We're going to put this on. You just got to put the lid on, turn it, lock it into place. Then I'm going to see if I can make this work. Turn that on. You can turn this. It starts out on custom blend. If you turn the dial, it goes to custom heat. Then it'll light up the little options on the side of the display, the digital display. So it has a smoothie, alt milk, and grind. I'm going to go ahead and choose the grind. Then you just push the button in, and it'll start to whir. There she goes.
That is pretty darn cool.
Oh yes, ready to take off.
Then you can push the button when you feel like it's done. See how frothy and well blended that is? It makes little noises for you. Oh, that smells delicious with the garlic. Oh
yes,
my
it
goodness.
does.
Then you can just take the blender jelly off and pour that in. Oh, and I can try to splash everybody with salsa.
And
That's okay.
no
It tastes
wonder
good.
we
wear aprons around here. I'm sure there's somebody that'd be willing to lick it off of you.
Now, the cool thing about the baking blender is that many moms at home who like to create their own baby food use this to blend up their baby food. So they're saving money, but also it's a nice, healthy, fresh, sometimes organic option to creating baby food for your
That just
babies.
smells wonderful.
Okay, now we're gonna give it a taste. I'll get a clean spoon. I'm gonna give it a taste for salt and acid. Those are the two things that you're looking for and heat if you want it spicier. If you accidentally over spice it and it's too hot for you, you can just add another can of tomato product, whichever one you like, and that will bring the heat down. It'll also make you some more salsa. So I'm gonna go ahead and taste for salt and acid. Okay, so we probably need a little more salt and another half a lime, and that will make it perfect.
Okay. So, Mom, if you want to do the salt, I will grab the lime.
Okay, I'm just gonna do a little sprinkle of salt here.
And I will squeeze one more half of a lime using that citrus press.
Oh, you're so strong and get all that juice out of there.
That's right.
Right. We'll stir it back up,
All
and
right.
we'll let our chef taste it, and I'm sure it's gonna be awesome now.
How about you guys? Give it a taste.
Ooh, yes.
That is really good.
That is perfect.
And guys, after you get it all put together, then you can throw in your diced tomatoes to make it as chunky as you want. Or you can leave them out if you would rather have a smoother salsa. But we like ours a little chunky. Okay, guys, so that's my own personal salsa recipe. And don't be afraid to try it out just the way I gave you the recipe, or change it up a little, add the spices you like, leave out the spices you don't. And it's really great, really fresh, and really delicious.
Again, stay tuned for next time here on Pampered Chef VIP Kitchen.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
for
watching.
joining us.